Okay, we're here with the CX motor, and we're going to do the valve adjustment. I decided I should do this before, I mean, you can do it on the bike, you know, anytime the motor's off and cold, at least for 8 hours. But I thought I'd do it, figure out where my valves were set at. You only need a couple tools. Get your feeler gauge. You need a 0.003 or a 0.08 millimeter, and a 0.004, which is a 0.1 millimeter. And you have to do it on the compression stroke, okay? And you need your 17 millimeter to rotate the crank assembly, and then you need your inspection port open here in the back so we can see where the flywheel's at. Now this motor has the pickups removed because I have new electronics in there. It's, you know, the race-on system, new stator, all that stuff. So I took everything out. There's a way to have a marking. I'm going to show you what I did on mine, but you should have a little tiny triangle indicating where you're at in the rotation. So let's go to the next step here. If you've opened up your inspection port before, there are I think there's 6 marks on this flywheel. There's an FL, a TL, there's a double hash, and then that occurs twice. The double hash does, and then there's also a FR and a TR. So what we're trying to accomplish here is, on a 4-stroke motor, the pistons are at top dead center twice. But what we need to make sure is that our top dead center is on the compression stroke. So for our left cylinder, as you know, we're sitting on the bike, we want the top dead center. So what we're looking for on the marking here, basically, the FL is the firing mark, but we need TL. And so we're going to rotate the motor clockwise from the front. So we grab our 17 millimeter here, and just ever so slightly, I'm going to, oh, by the way, yours will have the marking for, if you haven't removed your pickups, I should say, we'll have a mark. There should be a little triangle visible here in the back. This is actually, it's a really cool, there's a gentleman that made these, and the cutout fits perfectly in the casting here, so you can place this in here and basically have your timing mark without having to have the pickup in there. So it's obviously a little bit easier if you leave your pickup in there, but I don't know, not that big of a deal. You only do this once every, you know, so often. So the camera angle here I'm going to change so we can see exactly where we're at here, but from where I'm sitting here, I think we're pretty good. So our top left mark is just about the edge of our indicator here. So where that is, we want that in relationship to this is the you know, the intake. These are the intake valves. We want to make sure that these have just gone down and have just come back up once this is at top left. And that's how we know that this is on the compression stroke. So as we're rotating the motor around, you can watch it's going down. As you're rotating your motor, and we're going clockwise here, what we're after is we're going to set the valves after those intake valves have gone down, and then immediately after that, when we can see that the TL mark is right at the timing indicator. So I'm around the TR mark right now, so we're at top of the right. Exhaust port is going down. Valves, I should say. So here, I bet you this is we're on our compression stroke, because here's the intake going down on the top left, or on the left cylinder, I should say. And we're just going to slowly turn here. All right, so right after, let's see where we're at right here. Okay, so our valves just came back up on the left side. The flywheel is showing TR. So I'm gonna slowly turn, because then that's how we know we are almost at, yep, and it's just maybe not even a quarter turn more. And I got TL here in the window. I'm gonna verify it with my indicator. I got like just a hair tiny more. Okay, so we are for sure where we need to be now, because this down here in the window is right at TL. So our mark here in the window is TL. And also, kind of see it there. Also, the intake valve has just gone down and come back up. So we know we're on their compression stroke. So we take our two feeler gauges. We have our .003 and our .004. So they describe this in the original owner's manual as a little bit of resistance, more contemporary things on the internet will tell you it's supposed to feel like dragging it through a thick phone book. I would imagine there's not a whole lot of thick phone books around to quantify that. So it basically, you shouldn't have to force it in there, but it should have a little bit of drag on it. So there's two different styles of ends. Mine has the square, the adjuster, and then they lock down with 10 mil. These, the torque setting on the 10 mil nuts here is 11 to 13 foot-pounds. And so you insert your gauge in here. Here is the intake side, and I've already set this one, so there's just the right amount of drag. This is a .003, okay? So those babies are like identical, and there's just enough drag on them, okay? And then you simply go over to your exhaust side, and that's just a little bit more. It's .004, okay? Same thing. Same thing, just a nice drag on those. So what you can do to set it is you can loosen your lock nut here, and then you can stick your feeler gauge in there. And then there's just kind of, I had to do it a couple different times to get it to set right. And also it's good to note where your valves were when you start. So this one for me was like at .07 or .007, which is, almost double what it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. And then, so that's the left side. So we follow the procedure then for the right side. So, because the flywheel's at top left now, we're just gonna rotate it around again. See, it says TO. And the other way that you can know this is piston is right there. But again, like I said earlier, it's at the top twice. But we know it's on the compression stroke because of how the valves were moving, okay? So we need to get our flywheel to TR. Okay, so we had just set our left-hand side. We're still at TL. I'm gonna rotate around. I'm watching in the inspection hole here, and we're watching the valves. There's the timing mark, there's FR, and there's TR. We're at top right there, but let's make sure that we're on the compression stroke. So we're gonna watch these valves. So they're going down, and then when they come back up, the next time we see TR, which should be about a quarter or so, that's where we want to be. My starter's not in this motor, that's why you're hearing that little clicking sound, besides the ratchet. Okay, there's TR. Let's get my little template here so I can make sure on my end. Yes, right on the money. Okay, so intake side, 0.003. Exhaust side, 0.004. Good amount of drag. And then the exhaust side. These gauges are so thin they find themselves back inside of the holder here quickly. And that's it. So you got your, I'm gonna tighten this side up actually a little bit. I'm gonna have a little bit more drag on that side. I'm gonna tighten that side up a bit. So this is a good, since I set the other ones already, this one, just a little too loose. So it needs to have a little bit of drag. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna loosen the locks here. We're gonna tighten, mine are square. Some of them have a little notch in them, I think on the 650s. And then you just tighten it up so there's a little bit of drag, and that's it. So main elements, make sure you're on your compression stroke. The cylinder is going to be at top twice in a 4-stroke. So piston is definitely there at the top. We know that also because we have our TR mark in the inspection hole over here. But we know that we're on the compression stroke because the intake valve has just gone down and come back up. I know this is probably, I'm beating a dead horse here, but it was very confusing for me to wrap my head around this, and I thought I should be as clear as possible. So if somebody is stuck or feeling like they don't know what they're doing, this might help. Thanks for watching.